If you see my videos, you know I hate unboxing videos, so we're not going to do one. What we're going to be doing today in this video is checking out this thing. This is the new TCL Cam B1 from TCL. Now, how I do these videos is the first thing I do is I show you how the installation process goes so you know what you're getting into there, and then I spend some time really going through the camera and putting it through its paces. If you've seen my videos, you know I don't hold back, so if I come up with problems, I do share them with my viewers so you can make an informed decision whether or not this camera is right for you. So you're going to want to stay tuned till the end. Now, before we do the setup, what is this thing? This is a battery-powered, comes with a battery pack, a battery-powered solar charging camera. So in theory, you can charge this thing up the first time. It's got a USB-C on the top of it. I've already charged this up. You can mount this on the side of your house, and as long as the solar panel here has exposure to the sun, you should never have to take the camera down and charge it. It has a 2K camera, and it says it supports up to 128 gig of storage using an onboard SD card, which means you are going to have to supply an SD card with this thing to save the footage on board. And if it works like other cameras that I've had before, it'll then send notifications to your phone, but we're going to find all that out. So to start with, let's get this thing set up. So the very first step in the installation process for this camera is the same with most of these cameras, and that is you're going to have to download the app to set it up. And the app I've already got loaded on my phone here. It's called Smart Life, and there is a QR code in the instructions that you can follow to download it. So we're going to pop open the app, and then we're going to hit the little plus sign up at the top and add device. Now, one of the things that it asks is if you will allow it to use your geolocation on your phone. I pretty much always say no to that. What you will have to say yes to, though, is its access to your local network, because that's how it's going to communicate with the camera. So we're going to go allow for that. And then typically these things also need to connect via Bluetooth for any initial setup, so we're going to allow Bluetooth as well. So it's now starting to search for the device, which means we need to put the battery in. So we're going to put the battery in and get this thing started. Just like so. And there's a little rubber cover on the bottom side. Pop that cover open, and there is a sync and reset button. So we're going to hold that down. The camera's making noise, and this thing found the camera on the app.
Waiting for the Wi-Fi.
So now it's waiting for my Wi-Fi information. So we're going to go on my phone and plug that in. Now my Wi-Fi network's name is HAL, so we're going to put in HAL. I'm not going to show you my password because I don't want to put that out on the internet. And now it's transmitting the Wi-Fi information to the camera through Bluetooth, so this can talk to my network and the internet. And now the camera can see the camera from my phone. And it's actually already giving me detection alerts because it knows something's going on. So now let's get this thing installed on the outside of the house so we can do the rest of the testing and see how well this camera actually performs. So I've mounted the camera inside my courtyard, right behind me here, which is one of the locations I test a lot of our solar powered cameras, and that's because that is the southern sky, but the camera is actually faced away from it, so it gets some sun, but not full sun on that panel. So it gives you a good idea of what you can expect out of the solar panel if you're putting it somewhere that gets partial sun. It also is in an area where it's going to see some human traffic, but also see a lot of other motion because I've got trees that move around in the wind. So I'll be able to see how well the AI features as far as human filtering versus giving you false alarms because of other things moving around works. So right now, let's put it through its paces and we'll see how it does. So now we're going to start the testing process. And how I do tests on this channel is I run the camera through most of the common scenarios that you would be using a camera for. Our first test is the reaction speed test. And that's two things. How long does it take for the camera to sense motion and actually get it to your phone? And also, is there a delay between the person walking into the detection area and it actually starting the recording process? So let's do that right now. So I've got my stopwatch up, and we're going to walk into the detection zone, and we hit that zone right now. And we're running the stopwatch. We're walking straight towards the camera, so we're getting closer and closer, and we kind of keep an eye on things here. And we are at about 9.5 seconds between me walking into the detection zone and me getting an alert that it sought motion. Okay, so we're gonna repeat the same test at night just to see if there's any delay in how long it takes for it to recognize that I'm there, and also how long the notification takes. Notification should take about the same amount of time from the point it detects it. So right now, let's walk into the detection zone, and I'm entering that zone right now. And I can already see the green light is lit up. It is recording me, so it spotted me. We're approaching the camera now. And the IR lights, or the daytime lights, have turned on, and we got the detection. I stopped at about a second late. So right around 10 seconds from entering the detection zone to me getting the alert on my phone. Another feature that all these camera has is a talkback feature, meaning if somebody is in your front yard, you can talk to them through the camera. So now we're going to test out the speaker on the camera to see how well that sounds, and then how well somebody talking through the camera back to the phone also sounds. So let's give that a shot.
This is a test of the speaker with the camera and microphone about 10 feet away.
So now that we've done the speed test at daytime and at nighttime, and we've done the speaker test and shown some footage, now let's take a really good close look up at some of that footage so you can see what kind of resolution you can be expecting, and then also take a deep dive into the app. The first shot here we're going to look at is just in full daylight, filmed in the 2K, and you can see the facial features are very recognizable, and that's what you want in a security camera. The next two bits we're going to look at is at night. The first one is going to be using that white light and my landscape lighting, so let's check that out right now. And this is at night, and this is a combination of my home and landscape lighting and also the light on the front of the camera, putting light on me. And you can see a little bit of artifacting around me, but still recognizable if you were using this for security purposes. The next one is night vision. And for the night vision test, I turned off most of my landscape lighting, so here we are relying on the night vision lights. And what those are, this has infrared LEDs, so it's not visible to the human eye, but it illuminates what's going on. And this is where we started to see a little bit more artifacting and a lot more graininess in the video at night. All right, so we saw the camera in action, we saw the video nighttime and daytime. Now let's jump into the app so I can show you how the app works, because the camera, the hardware, is only half of the equation. The app also matters a lot. So I've got the app pulled up here, and I'm going to share it over here on the side of my screen so you can follow along at home. Now, the first thing I noticed with this app is not a TCL branded app. And this app actually looks very familiar to a couple other devices that I've had. So it seems like there's a basic software package that everyone's using, but this is not TCL branded. So we're going to go into our security camera here, and I want you to pay attention to a few things. Are you paying attention? That is the slowest I have had a camera pull up on my, and I actually timed it against some of my other cameras. It is the slowest I've ever had a camera pull up on my phone before. All my other ones are within 2 to 3 seconds. This thing takes a lot longer. So let's just go through the app. I've got it pulled up here. You can kind of check it out, and I'll show you how it works. The app here is different from some of the other ones that I've used, but it's also pretty similar. You come in here, and if you want to actually see what's been going on in your front yard, or in my case, my front yard, you can hit playback, and this will retrieve the video stream. Now, when you jump into the playback feature, it shows up a little differently than a lot of other cameras that I've had. Most other cameras show the clips. What this one is it shows bars. That's when the action happened. And you have to scroll through each one to find the next bit of action, and then it'll retrieve the video stream as it's doing right now. This is me recording stuff. Now, if I want to save this clip, what I have to do is come in here, click record. So I have to record the recorded clip. Then when I'm done recording that clip, I can stop recording, and now it has been saved to my album. Now, if I want to get to that clip and save it anywhere, I have to go to my gallery. Here's my gallery. Then I can select a clip here, and now I can download it to my phone. That's pretty cumbersome, and it's odd. I haven't seen one that works like that before. But also in the app, this is where you set up all of your other settings. So you have your motion detection settings, or I've turned on motion detection. You can set up the device volume, and on those clips that I've showed before, right now it's set at 7. I had it cranked all the way up to 10 to try to get it as loud as possible. Now, another quirky thing that I noticed on this thing was when you set it up for smart detection, when it only records and alerts you when it has seen a person, it shows this. Human body detected. The first time I saw that, I went, uh-oh, there's a corpse in my front yard. Every other one says person detection. This one says human body detected. Interesting choice of words. I think there's a lot of things in the app that have been kind of lost to translation. Now, if we come to the top right corner, you hit those 3 little dots, and this is where you can pull up all of your other information, the third-party controls. You can set up night mode, which is the different modes that I showed during the nighttime, the detection and alarm settings here. So this is where you can set up motion detection, human body filtering, and all the other things. The recorded duration, the longest duration you can do on here is 60 seconds, and then it resets. So that's the very quick nuts and bolts of the app. You can control everything from the app, but it is a little bit cumbersome. So we've shown you all the footage, the nighttime, the daytime, the reaction times, everything else. We've gone over the app. So now let me kind of go over the pros and cons that I ran into with this camera so you can make an informed decision for yourself. Now, for starters, the form factor of this camera. This is actually a very nice camera as far as form factor goes. It's not very big, it's not very heavy, and you can mount it pretty much anywhere you need to. The solar panel is part of the camera, so you're not having to mount multiple things. We'll talk about that in the cons section as well, but if it works out for you where the sun will be shining on the top of the camera, now you're not having to screw multiple mounts into the side of your house. Something I didn't address earlier, but I do want to mention now, is the solar panel itself. When I plugged this battery in initially, I was at about 68% charge. It ran for several weeks, and then today when I did the final of the filming, it was up at 72% charge. And we're getting into the winter months, and the way this thing is angled, the sun is coming in at this angle into it. So it is not getting hit with direct sunlight, but it is still holding its own and staying charged. And this thing does see a fair amount of foot traffic coming up to my front door. The detection range on this thing was actually very good. The distance between where the camera is and where that gate is that I did all my detections on was about 45 feet. Most cameras advertise that they will detect motion and be able to detect a person at about 40 feet. So I have had cameras not even pick me up until I've breached that and made it another 10 feet in. This thing actually was picking up people that it saw past the fence in my driveway out at 55, 60 feet. So that was actually doing pretty well for this thing. Another feature that this camera has that I haven't seen on every camera is this: a removable battery. Most of the other cameras that I've seen recently, the battery is built into the camera, and that means two things. Say in the winter months, you're not getting enough to totally keep this thing topped down, you've got to pull the battery out every couple weeks and charge it. In those cases, you have to pull the entire camera down, which means you're going to have to unthread it off the mount, and it means the camera now isn't aimed anymore. So when you put the camera back up, you're going to have to re-aim it, and if you set up detection zone, you're going to have to reset it unless you get the aim dead on perfect. With this one, you can pop up a ladder, or in my case, because my roof is low, just go walk over to it and pull the battery out. The battery is charged with a little USB Type-C, so you can just slap it on in there when you're done charging up, and you've got a full battery again. The light on the front of this thing was actually pretty bright, especially for a small solar-powered battery camera. A lot of the solar-powered battery cameras come with really anemic lights. Now, the one thing to note is if you're running this light at full blast and it comes on a lot, it will deplete your battery pretty quickly, probably faster than your solar panel can charge it back up. And finally, in the pros, there's the price. This thing is one of the least expensive solar-powered, battery-powered, completely wireless cameras out there on the market right now. There are others out there and things do go on sale, but right now this is in the lower end of the price bracket. What will be interesting to see is what other cameras TCL comes out with to kind of accompany this line of cameras in the future. So those are the pros that I ran into. Now let's talk about the cons, because I value honesty in my review. The first thing, and I pointed this out, is the app. The app really needs some work. It is cumbersome. The time that it takes to load the app and load the cameras, if you're using this as a security camera and you need that footage immediately, is a little bit longer than I would like to see. It looks to me like the app they're using kind of a generic app to run smart home products, and it's not a TCL branded app. Not saying it has to be a TCL branded app, but the app could definitely use some love. Something that's been annoying is I haven't figured out a way in the app to just turn the camera off. You can go in and turn off notifications, but it's not an easy click of a thing to just turn the camera off. And that comes in handy with my other cameras because my wife doesn't need to know I'm in the driveway working on my truck cussing at it because it won't start. So it doesn't alert her when we turn those cameras off. This thing just keeps blasting notifications out. Now the camera is 2K and it did give good resolution and picture quality during the day. During the nighttime is where that fell off, especially in night vision mode. If it was using the big light and I had all my landscape lights on, it did pretty well. But when I was relying on the lights on this thing, especially just the IR lights on it, it definitely got grainy and a little bit more pixelated than you would really want if you were using it as a security camera and had to make out facial features to identify a bad guy.
But this is probably the biggest issue that I ran into it, and it is with the sound going back and forth. Now the sound coming out of the camera actually sounded pretty good.
This is a test of the speaker with the camera and microphone about 10 feet away.
But as you saw earlier in the video, the sound that you're going to be hearing coming through your phone is more like this. This is by far the worst sound quality I have ever had coming out of a camera.
So there you have it, all the pros and cons and an honest review of the new TCL 2K solar powered camera. Now, if this video helped you out, please give it a great big thumbs up. We really do appreciate it. And leave me a comment if there's anything that I missed that you would like an answer to. I'm always happy to answer those questions down below. Now, this kind of stuff, if you like it, if you like up-to-date tech stuff, DIY tutorial videos, tools, and all that good stuff, hit that subscribe button. I've always got stuff like this coming your way. And of course, thanks for watching.